What's going on, y'all? It's Jared, the Orleanian legend, give you what you need in news and interviews. Today on the show, we got our first repeat interviewee, I should say, Marcus Cummings. Welcome to the show, sir.
What's going on? You say I'm the first repeat guest?
Yeah, that's what I call a remix interview. If you go check back on one of our older, I can't remember the episode number, but we just did an audio podcast interview. But this time we're gonna do it on video so we can stream it live to everybody. All right. So this interview is going to be very, very special because this man has so many revenue streams. It's ridiculous. He's a health trainer, or what do you want to say, a health consultant.
I would say health consulting because I'm more so going to educate you on your diet. The workouts are secondary.
Okay. He's a author of 2 books, Yummy Tummy and Quarantine Cuisines. You can buy both of those on Amazon right now. He's a project manager. He is what do you say, a landlord. He has his own rental properties, and he's an investor as well as owns 2 businesses. One is Marc Damien Productions as well as MD Foods LLC. So he does a lot, and he's also on top of that, he's also a sports agent, which is crazy. So let's get unpack this interview and get deep into it. So give yourself a little bio about yourself, Mr. Cummings.
Well, first of all, Jared, thanks for having me. Pleasure to be back. Glad to see the progression since when we started. Didn't have the video, wasn't streaming, so definitely congrats on progression over time. So Marcus Cummings, originally from New Orleans, have a bachelor's in marketing with a minor in management, MBA from Texas A&M Commerce. After that, received my sports agent's license. Firm worked with Teddy Bridgewater, Jacoby Jones, Kyrie Robinson, Andre Johnson, just to name a few people, Robert Meacham. And from there, transitioned into getting some project management certifications, PMP, project management professional, CSM certified Scrum Master, ITSM, ITIL, and just over time started to gain weight. So just in the process of doing an event with Trina, made some food for her. She posted it. People start hitting me up, and that's how MD Foods was created. And now just systematically, using my time best. That's how the ebooks came about. Yummy Tummy Reduction hit bestseller, I believe, in October. Quarantine Cuisine came about during the quarantine, and that's it. Just an overall hustler. Now making my money work for me with the rental units and investing in the stock market, doing some day trading, some options, just setting myself up for long-term wealth, generational wealth, and just trying to retire early. So grinding right now to relax down the line. Same thing with training. It came about through, doing something with Marc Damien Productions, met a celeb, needed some help with weight loss. I started working with her. People saw the results. People just started hitting me up and just turned it into a stream of revenue. So that's the overall summary or synopsis.
That's cool. We're gonna break down each one. So first, let's go into your main career. What made you get into project management?
I was kind of forced into not say forced into project management, but I was forced into the transition into project management, and that's how everything else kind of started with. Not to go off subject with the real estate and the investments, but worked for a company 8, 9, 10 years, however long I was with that company. Living in Texas, San Antonio for 5 years, Houston for about 4 years, and just got comfortable and relaxed, and company decided to make some changes. So, just started looking at other things, different things I could leverage based off of my current resume and my current experience. And a few companies hit me up based off of my resume being out there, just speaking about project management. And so based off of those calls, emails, interviews, I started to dig deeper into it, and wanted to get a credential that would help me secure the biggest bag, even though I never had any official official project management title per se. So decided to get my PMP, received it, and the rest is history. Was able to leverage some prior experience, the PMP certification, and just build some relationships and break my way into the IT sector. And I've been dealing with IT project management for the past 2.5 years. So that's how I got into project management. Just being comfortable with one company, and then they kind of forced me to reinvent myself.
Okay, that's what's up. All right, that's a lot right there. So let's talk about since you brought it up, your weight and transformation. So let's talk about how you began your weight loss journey and how you became an author, talking about eating healthy and dieting, as well as working out and becoming a trainer. So you can talk about the progression, how you went from just losing weight, hitting the gym, eating right, cooking right, to starting training others, even myself. I worked out with you. So let's talk about that.
Yeah, so all that ties to me living in Texas. And so just a bit of advice. If you have an opportunity to leave, well, I'm here in New Orleans, but if you have an opportunity to leave, venture off, do it. Me leaving New Orleans, being uncomfortable, moving somewhere strange by myself was the best decision I ever made. More opportunities, a lot more exposure, a lot more networking, and that's how all this started. So started making a lot of money living in San Antonio. Left New Orleans about 2010. So, by myself, still making friends, but it's different from the friends you grew up with, your family. Just start eating. I think Wayne's Rick Ross or somebody made a verse. They say I'm gaining weight. I tell them I'm getting paid. So basically, just sitting down, enjoying the money that I'm making. Spending it, traveling, not really taking care of myself. And, I came home one Christmas, I believe it was Christmas of 2016. And, I joke a lot with my family and my aunt. I had on this jean vest, and she was like, man, it don't look like you could button it up. And so, but when I flew back home to Houston, because I had moved from San Antonio, living in Houston now, I actually looked in the mirror and jumped on the scale. Like I said, when you living life, making money, happy, whatever, you're not really paying attention to that. And I was like, whoa, I'm really big now. I think like 265. And when I left New Orleans in 2010, I was 175. So that's a big difference. Yeah. So the journey started there. And prior to that, I had tried working out here and there, paying a trainer, but it was just a waste because nobody educated me on eating right. Growing up in New Orleans, we party, drink, eat. So it's not a lot of health and nutrition education going on out there. So, I don't know what made me think about a healthy diet. I think a friend of mine, shout out to Marcus Arsenal. I saw him working out. He was in Houston and he had trimmed up. So I reached out to him and he kind of, told me about what he was doing. High protein and veggies, just cutting out the rice, potatoes, et cetera, et cetera. So, that kick-started the journey. I lost about 30 pounds in a month and a half, 2 months. And I still really wasn't where I wanted to be. And the transition to trainer that you spoke of, that didn't come for some time. That didn't happen until just recently. A few months ago, I started, creating that stream of revenue from working people out. But since 2017, 2017, when I started losing weight, other people started seeing it, just getting more active in the gym consistently. And just through going in the gym, you're going to start to meet like-minded people, other people that can, help you along your journey. So that's what kind of aided me. And going back to, everything else I do, the official training situation came about from once again. I think where were we at? We were in Tallahassee at a concert with Trina. Ran into you know a celeb backstage, and just different from how I knew this person. So I started working with her immediately and coached her on the diet because I had, I'm the product. I had transitions and lost a lot of weight. I think at this point I might have been 205 or 210. So I had dropped about 65 pounds. And the first ebook I believe was out already. Yeah, Yummy Tummy Reduction. I created Yummy Tummy Reduction in 2019. I think I launched it Thanksgiving of 2019. And so backtracking, not to be all over the place, but backtracking to Yummy Tummy Reduction, that came about from when I moved back to New Orleans. I used to cook and post on my Instagram, my Facebook, and people saw the weight loss. So, me being a hustler all the time, hey, let me bust these meal plans up, because most of my following and my base, they were from New Orleans, and I lived away, so they couldn't really taste what I was cooking. So now it's time to really package it up, make it look official. You got your meal prep containers. I had labels, I had packaging. I had the website. Go to the website, yummytummy.mdfoodsllc.com. Had the website, so everything's official, everything's legit. But football, IT project management, all these other things, trying to get into real estate, just too busy, have a lot going on. So this is where putting systems in place happens. So, instead of me taking time to cook or outsource it, contract people, I just started selling recipes, because people from out of town would hit me up. They'd be like, hey, man, I would love to taste your food. Can you ship it? It's just too much hassle for me. And once again, it wasn't my main source of income. So for me, if I made $500, $600, even $200 a month from something systematic that I didn't have to personally invest my time in, it made sense. So that's where the ebook came about. Once I created the ebook, took the pictures, photo shoot, the ebook was online forever. All I have to do is promote it, and once again, I'm the product from the transition. So that was an easy sell. So with that celeb I wanted to work with, that's how I coached her, showed her my results, showed her and her manager my results. And said, hey, I'm gonna give you the ebooks for free. I'm gonna coach you. We're gonna talk every day. This is what you need to eat, et cetera, et cetera. And it took a while for her to really transition, because it's hard sticking to a consistent diet. But once she did, the results started kicking in. Within, I think, the first month of her getting serious, she lost like 10 to 15 pounds. So it just so happened, I was in the same city as her, because my NFL client got picked up by that team, or he was about to get picked up, or had just signed with that team. So I flew out there. She and I met up, and we just started working out. Boom, posted it. And from there, people just started hitting me up, asking me to train them, or if I'm a trainer. And so, me, okay, yeah, I'm a trainer. This is what I charge. Let's get popping. And so, first person hit me up. I started working with him, posting him. He had his results, and the rest was history. And so, even with that, like I said, with everything I have, everything else I have going on, for me, it's strategic. People always like, when do you sleep? How do you make it work? So for me, it's strategic. So for me, training, I know I have a window before I get up and start my day. I'm already in the gym at like 5:30 a.m. Because for one, I don't like the gym to be that crowded. And if I have a meeting at 8 a.m., I want my workout to be done. Because if I don't work out prior to my day getting started, anything could happen, and I may put the workout off. So strategically, I have people come in between 6:45 and 7:45. So I'm only have maybe 4 or 5 clients max, but each client is gonna pay me anywhere from $300 to $600, depending on how many sessions they have. So I don't need many. So you take 4 clients paying average 400, that's an extra $1,600 a month. So I could put that money in the stock, pay off whatever debt. It could be in the account going towards, the next down payment on the next property. So, I could go on and on about the ebooks and training, but that's how the training situation started. And what makes me stand out why people deal with me, because I'm gonna give you coaching on training. The average trainer, they just want your money. They giving you the workout. Weight loss is gonna be 70 to 80% diet, and I coach you on your macros, your protein intake, show you those apps. You have, unlimited access. Hey, can I eat this, or should I do this? What about these portions, et cetera, et cetera. I'm thinking about cheating with a drink. How should I drink it? So, I coach you on all that. So that's why, I'm guaranteeing you results as long as you put in the work and eat right.
What's up? Wow, that's a lot to unpack right there. Let's talk back to your ebook. So what's the process of creating a book or ebook and getting it published? I know you made it look easy because you did it like very, very quickly.
Yeah. So with the ebook, and I'm actually, about to create a third one, and a few athletes reached out to me to help them create ebooks for them. So I'm actually about to, take it to a whole nother level and, start selling content to other people that want to create ebooks. But I actually have a team. Once again, we're talking about systems. Just over the process of being in business, I understand, I don't want to be a one-man show. I'm not the best at everything. And, I don't have time to do everything. So, how did I meet my publisher? I have a publisher. She does a lot for me. And so I'm very hands off. As soon as I write the recipes, send them to her, take the photos, she really does everything else. I just look at the finished product. She may send me some sample cover pages or ask questions, but once I write the recipes, send her the pictures, I'm hands off. She handles everything else, from creating an ISBN, uploading it on Amazon or Apple or whatever it is. And I also have my own site. So same thing there. My publisher works with the person who does my website, and they handle all that. So I'm really hands off with that. So the process is basically, creating the recipes. Then from there, I'm doing the photo shoot. I think Yummy Tummy Reduction, I didn't hire a photographer. I used pictures in my phone because I needed to do that quick. The idea was to get it done by Black Friday to capitalize or maximize on the Black Friday sales. So I did it quick. So I just used pictures out my phone, and she was able to work up magic filters, whatever she did. People really, really couldn't tell. And even before that, I don't know if you remember, I had the cookbook calendar. So that's how
I remember that. Yeah.
That's how the recipes really started. I had the cookbook calendar where each month I had, I think like January, the signature food was cabbage. And so you have your calendar, and it's an actual paper hardback calendar. Had a publisher in San Antonio. Yeah, I made that in 2015. And each month had a recipe. So you had the picture, then you had the calendar, just like you post a calendar on the wall, refrigerator, whatever. It had the detailed recipes with the chef tips, ingredients, et cetera, et cetera. So that's how really the recipe way started. I think I made on that, I might have spent about $1,200 on that project and probably made $3,000. So for me, that's still a win, because that's a difference of $1,800. So, he came on saying all these streams of revenue. Just because people have titles behind their name and they say they're doing stuff, don't mean they're making a lot of money. $1,800 off of one week investment was good for me. And once again, that cookbook calendar, I can reprint it and do whatever as long as I want to. I own it. It's my content. So same thing with the ebook. Send her the recipes. I think with Quarantine Cuisine, I actually did I hire someone to do the photo shoot? You know what? I'm tripping. The calendar, I use my phone. Yummy Tummy Reduction, I did hire a photographer. I hired a photographer, cooked all the food. We did the photo shoot. It was like a 3-4 hour photo shoot because I had to cook and plate everything live, and sent all that to her. And like I said, from there she handles everything. Publisher, her name Jamanica, 90 Day Legacy Builders on IG. Shout out to her. She'll get you right if you need an ebook. I think I, introduce you to her or put you on her for ebook. So basically, once she lays out the
Yeah.
content, she'll send it back to me to proof. I'll have some people go through, check for grammar errors, and just making sure everything's flowing and it looks right. The layout is good. And then from there, send it back to her, give her the green light, and she just works her magic behind the scenes with making sure it fits into, Amazon Kindle, make sure it fits into Apple if it's on, iTunes or whatever Apple platform is. You can also, I think Walmart has a platform. Barnes and Nobles has a platform also. So she really handles all that, and she just lets me know when the release date is.
Okay. And I got one of your books, the first book you talking about, Yummy Tummy Reduction, right there on Amazon. Make sure you check it out. You got some great recipes in there, and all the food is good. I've also,
Yeah, and that's the one that actually hit bestseller, I think, in November. So, and that's crazy because I had fallen off from promoting them. My publisher hit me up. She like, hey, the book is good. Let's make it bestseller. So we went on a quick like 2-week campaign, and before the 2 weeks was over, it hit bestseller. My sales had shot up. And she's actually working on some stuff now just based off of that campaign to push it out there even further.
okay. All right. All right. So let's talk about your, since we're still talking about books, let's talk about your second book, Quarantine, Quarantine,
Quarantine cuisine.
Quarantine Cuisines. So what made you want to start that? I know it was been a pandemic when you created it. So what made you want to start that book?
Yeah, that was just because when COVID hit, everybody was talking about, not eating healthy, and most of the older folks, so to say, were more, I guess, exposed to the virus, and people that were kind of overweight. So, we were stuck inside, and gyms were closed. So once again, I'm like, man, I really don't have access to the gym like I want to. Diet, having a nice diet is going to keep me there, and maybe this is content people could use. Basic everyday stuff that may already be in your kitchen, and using it to really still have the same taste and flavor, but lose weight at the same time. One of the recipes is avocado toast. One piece of toast. You can, you know, use your own avocado to make guacamole, or you can buy store-bought guacamole, and I teach you a special way to make the egg in very very low calorie. The heaviest thing is the toast, but I believe I suggest to use wheat toast. You can use whatever toast you want, but you can use that as a snack or for breakfast. That depending on how much avocado or guacamole you use, I think that might be 200 calories or less. So that was the concept, just providing people stuff they could make from the comfort of their home. The only thing we were doing at the time was going to the grocery store. So that's how the concept came about, and I shot that one by myself. Actually, in the rental property, I shot that one here because I was stuck here, and didn't have a photographer, and people weren't visiting people at the time, so use this iPhone that I'm talking on now. So that's how that came about, and the feedback was really really good from that also, because people really needed that. And once again, same process, send her the recipes, take the pictures, and she works her magic from there. That one's on Amazon also. And yeah, that's gonna be there forever. And now, you know, you'll be able to use it forever. That content is gonna be there forever.
Okay. Cool. Cool. As I see we got some comments on here. Give me 1 second. Let me check it out. So we got lovely TRL. Oh, she's saying great interview. Shout out to
Thank you.
lovely watching. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Uh, something. Oh, that's lovely again. Yeah, big difference. I think she was talking about something earlier when we was talking about something. Right now, I can't see the other comments. Something's going on, so I'll come back to those later. So, yeah. So we talked about your 2 books. We talked about you being a project manager. We talked about being a health consultant and a trainer. So let's talk about you being a sports agent. Can you talk about that process of becoming a sports agent? What made you want to get into that industry as well? And how many, if you want to discuss how many clients you're working right now, or how do you go about getting clients?
Well, the sports, I came up as a youngin', Joe Brown, playing basketball, football, high school, played basketball, uh, did a little football, but they had their favorites, so I didn't really stay on the football team at high school, play basketball. And, I wasn't one of those guys that had this dream I had to be in the NBA or NFL. And, in college, I promoted parties with Big Stan. Shout out to Big Stan. And, a conversation with him. He's a sports agent, killing it right now. Last draft had a first round pick. This draft gonna have a first round pick. So big ups to him. So just a conversation I had with him because I came up in the entertainment world under him. That's how Marc Damien Productions, MD Productions, came about. So he let me know one of the things he was doing and just told me about the process. I did my own research, and it just so happened when I was in San Antonio. Uh, Once again, hustling wherever I'm at, corporate hustling. Um, One of the club owners was a sports agent. He was a silent sports agent. I had never met the guy, but the main guy who I dealt with, he was like, yeah, all these football players. Even before I was a sports agent, I had Jacoby Jones come out there to host a party, Jamarcus Russell. Like I said, just had a network of athletes that I was still connected with. Me being a hustler, a business-minded person, I just started investigating, doing my own research. Once again, somebody I knew had transitioned into doing it, going away from parties. And once again, same thing going back to how I became a project manager. You have to stay relevant, keep reinventing yourself, and stay on top of things or you'll get left behind. So, you know, that's how the sports agent wave came about. I did my research, and like I said at the time, I'm living in San Antonio, making some nice money. So saved my money, still enjoy life. So I did my research. You had to have a secondary degree. So when I say that, that means not a bachelor's, a master's or a doctorate or a PhD or something of that nature. So I just had my bachelor's at the time. So the company I was working for, they had a tuition reimbursement program. So they basically paid for 60% of my master's as long as I stayed with the company a year after completing it and made a C or better. And once again, I was making money, so I paid the other 40%. So, no debt. And even that's how I even went to pick UNO. I didn't want my parents to, have major debt. I didn't want student loans, didn't want to take out loans. So instead of me going away somewhere, I stayed at home. My parents worked, did the parties, and I think I received the top scholarship. So that pretty much covered most of the local tuition at UNO. So I pretty much strategically, like I said, everything's a mindset with me. So strategically, I didn't want that debt. Even when I'm dating, like how much debt that are we gonna take on if we get married? that might that might that might cancel you out ASAP.
I feel you on
Start playing baseball.
that.
But look, so anyway, you have to have a secondary degree. From there, you have to go through an application process just to apply. Is 500 non-refundable. So 2,500 to the NFLPA, and they go through this strenuous background check, all this historical data, et cetera, et cetera. And if some come back and they don't approve your application, that 2,500 is wasted. So once that comes back good, they'll send you a letter. Then they'll send you the CBA, collective bargaining agreement. You'll start to study that. That's January. January is the deadline to apply each year. Um, and then from there, maybe it's been so long. Maybe between May or April, between May or June, they let you know if you pass or what. No, if they accepted your application. I think April, May, they let you know if you've been accepted. June, July, you fly to DC and you test. So got to pay for hotel, pay for airplane, however your transportation is, food, et cetera, et cetera. I can't remember if it's another fee to test, but of course it's more money because you got to travel to DC. If you working and doing other stuff, got to take time off work. That's lost revenue, lost hours from work. And then from there, I think they notify you in September or October if you pass. Then as soon as you pass, those agent fees are due. So uh, whether you sign a player or not, your yearly fee is $1,500, depending on how many clients you have, and then you have to pay for this insurance that we hardly ever use, another $1,400. So you're looking at about $3,000 every year just to hold this license, whether you make money or not. And from
And what
there,
happens? What happens if you let the license lapse? You got to retake the test again.
the only way the license will last if you don't sign a player within 3 years. So yeah, if you don't pay your dues on time, because you get they give you a date, you get a week to pay the dues or what have you. If you don't pay your dues or if you don't negotiate at least one contract within a 3-year period. So I got certified in 2015, I believe. So this is going into my 6th year. So I've done my own contracts. Like even if you work for a firm or someone, or you're just hustling with it, you still have to negotiate a contract. So if you don't negotiate a contract within 3 years, then you can't. I don't even think you retest within 2 years. But now they have a continuing education program. We had to test about 2 years ago was the first test they administered. Um, so yeah, if you don't pass the test, I believe you get one more chance to take the test, and then from there you may be suspended for a year. If you don't pass, you may have to sit out a year or something like that. But those are the only ways that your license will get revoked. Of course, if you're not negotiating and doing practicing by the guidelines that the NFLPA governs. But when it comes to recruiting, just like any other service, like real estate, it's relationship based. 9 times out of 10, it's going to be relationship based, and it's about networking. But the good thing about it is, just being able to say you're a sports agent, it provides you a lot of opportunities. If you're out there listening, how many sports agents do you personally know? So not that many. So
Not that many at all.
just just being able to say you're a sports agent, it serves its purposes. So going back to what I said at the beginning, just because you hold the title, it doesn't necessarily mean you have immediate revenue or money coming from it. It's like chess. It's a move that could possibly set up other plays or bigger plays down the line. Just like I said before, it's athletes hit me up to help them with ebooks. That may come off of my network of knowing other sports agents that want to provide deals and different things for their players. So once again, you have to know how to use what you have to leverage it to make revenue. And I'm just somebody who sit, analyze everything, and it's just on go mode. So, but when it comes to recruiting a player, like I said, they're scouts. They evaluate these guys, and they give them draftable grades. Day 1, day 2, day 3. Day 1 of the draft, that's going to be your first round picks. Day 2, that's second to third. So basically, that's the top 100 guys. Normally, you want to try to get a top 100 guy, but whole nother story, whole nother time. This sports business is a crazy business, so not gonna get into that. And day 3 is pretty much gonna be the rest of the draft, and after the draft you have your free agent guys. So with the free agent guys, they're basically guys who teams think could have been drafted 6th or 7th round, but they didn't want to take the risk on them, so they're going to sign them to the standard contract with the league minimums, and just give them a chance to make the team. That's basically the process for the college kids or the college guys that are trying to transition to the league. And once again, you're trying to build the relationship with the kid, just to kind of let them know that you're different, showing what stands out, what makes you different, and really, let them know it's going to be a brotherhood, something beyond business. Because 9 times out of 10, if the player is good, I mean, he don't need anybody to sell itself. So for example, Rolls Royce don't have ads on the TV. They don't
Right,
have
just like Rich Carlton. Rich Carlton, they got ads on TV.
right, because people gonna automatically go to them, and so that's what a lot of the players have to kind of understand. I can't sell a beat up Honda to a team that's looking for a Rolls Royce. I don't care who you are. That's just the nature of the business. And how I operate, how I've always operate. I'm gonna be transparent, and just provide the best for you. And if you roll me, you roll me. If you don't, then it's not meant for us to work. But just to roll it up, recruiting process is basically about networking, getting that first meeting, getting your foot in the door, building a relationship. And like I said, football gonna sell itself, so it's really about that person seeing you for who you are. And it just depends on the person. Some people are in it, they just want somebody who gonna get them the most money. Some people want guys that are about integrity. Some people want guys that are about family. So you kind of have to analyze that when you decide who to recruit. You may not want to recruit somebody that's a headache, because if you invest that money into them, because when you're recruiting these college kids, it's very expensive. You got to pay for their training. If they're in apartments, you're paying for all that while they training for the draft. Rental costs, man, that's a big bill. Even on the low end, you coming out of pocket like 8 to 10,000, to the high end 20-30,000, and that's just for training. And kids are wanting all type of stuff nowadays, and everybody think they that player. And just like us, with everyday life, we see the next person getting this and this, even though we didn't put in the work, and our value is not that. Do we deserve it? So that's what kind of makes the job unique and hard at the same time. So once again, definitely don't regret entering the business. Business has been pretty decent, a lot of experience. Like I said, I've worked with, Teddy Bridgewater, Jacoby Jones, et cetera, et cetera. And I have a few free agent guys right now that have made some teams, and things are looking pretty good from here. I'm definitely going to keep the license as long as I can. So the fact I've been in it for about 6 years plus, I'm doing something decent to stay afloat.
Okay. All right. Wow, you just keep moving and grooving, huh? That's what's up. All right. So since I follow you in multiple groups and text messages on Facebook about investing in the stock market, you want to talk about what made you want to get into the stock market? What started you getting in that process? You want to elaborate on that?
Well, with the stocks, my first stock was Apple. Once again, making money, San Antonio, and I don't know what made me start looking into stocks, but really didn't know anything about it. But my first thought process was, everybody keep buying all these iPhones, Apple, Apple, Apple. So that was my first stock, and that's probably gonna be my flagship stock forever because they're not glamorous, but we keep buying the same exact phone over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. I have two iPhones, I have an iPad, Apple TV, Apple Fitness. So, that's
Apple
basically
TV.
what you
Right.
said.
I say Apple TV.
Yeah, that's what I
You
said.
know
So
what I'm
that's
saying?
basically a way of
Apple
him
TV.
taking one apple and transforming it into multiple streams of revenue. So that's really how I got into it. Wish I'd have went heavier. And since I've been at Apple in 2014, I think I've received like a 35% return on my money, everything I've invested in Apple for the past 6-7 years. So historically 30+% returns. And I'm always go hard with them. They may not get me to where I want to be the fastest, but they provide a great return and less risk. So what made me get into it this year or last year, 2020 heavy, was the actual pandemic. Always invested in my 401k, and 401k took a big hit when the pandemic happened. So had a call with a friend, and he was just like, "Man, let's try and put this into our own hands." So decided to invest less in my 401k and just started looking at some stocks here and there, started buying them. And then another friend, I saw him posting about options. He was posting $10,000 wins, $20,000 wins here and there. So just reached out to him trying to figure out what that was. And uh, just from some of the knowledge I gained in talking to people and acquiring my first multi-unit last year, I started my own chat group on Telegram. Forgot the name of it, real estate and retirement or real estate and stock or something like that. And it just started to grow, went from about 3-4 people to about 30-40 people. And from there, all these different like-minded people throwing ideas, throwing different things. And that's when I just started digging into stock and, retirement and day trading further. And like I said, the ultimate goal is to, I'm not trying to keep doing all this forever or retire at 60. I'm have a 10-year plan. It's 40, 45 and I'm done. I won't have enough
Right.
assets from real estate and stocks to be able to live a simple life and maintain and keep money in
Okay.
the market that's going to appreciate. Same thing with the properties, and continue to grow my assets over time and live within my means.
Okay. Well, we're gonna. Okay, I got a few more questions about the investing, but we got a question in the comments. Shout out to all Sell Biden. Question is, what is the competition like for clients? How do you deal with the egos of the athletes? Referring to your sports agent, being a sports agent.
Oh man, competition for getting clients is crazy. People are always trying to poach or steal your clients. Sell them dreams, make them think they can get them opportunities that you can't. And it's only a limited amount of athletes out there, and there's tons of agents. I think last I checked, we might have been at like 1,100. This is just football. I only deal with NFL and football, so it might have been 1,100. And I think each year they may bring in an extra 200, 300, 400. So I'm not 100% certain, but just realistically, I would say it's probably 100 agents that have really 50 to 60% of all NFL clients, just being factual. So it's very competitive. It's very tough and hard to get clients, and it's hard to keep clients. Um, so once again, relationships, networking is key. As far as dealing with egos, I mean, hey, it's a business. It's just like dealing with that customer that walk into the restaurant and it's still a customer. Sometimes you got to take some of their stuff unless they're being extremely disrespectful, because that's what's paying your bills. So yeah, every athlete for the most part, they want that royal treatment. And hey, if you in the league, you've achieved your dream, so you deserve some type of treatment to the extent. But like I said, if you're a people person, you're in that industry, you already know how to deal with egos. It's something that comes with the territory. I mean, it's agents that got egos. I know y'all seen the movie Jerry Maguire. That's real life stuff. That's not fiction. It's facts.
All right. Okay. All right. So back to investing. So how do you go about picking a stock to invest in long term as well as playing like the short term game using stock options? How do you choose your stocks and how do you research them? What's your game plan?
I say for long term, like I said, I'm never gonna get away with, get away from whatever's around me. Never. If you spending on it, probably somebody else spending on it. It's not that difficult. It's not that complicated. Once again, if you're looking for low risk, everybody shopping at Walmart. Everybody shopping at Target. Even with the pandemic, Home Depot, Lowe's, they killed it. The housing market went through the roof. So when people building houses, they getting stuff from Home Depot, they getting stuff from Lowe's. Once again, your Apples. These are companies that have been there since, for the most part, since we were small. I know everybody remember the first Mac or computer, Microsoft. If you have a corporate job, even with people without corporate jobs, you run into Microsoft, from computers to the software. Everybody using Microsoft Teams, Outlook. So you gotta think about what's really around you, because 9 times out of 10, the person next door is spending money on the same thing. So that's pretty much where I started. That's how I started in the game, and once again, I'll always continue to use that method. But beyond that, kind of looking at the balance sheet, seeing assets and liabilities, evaluating, what the market price is of a stock versus the book value. The book value is where the stock actually should be. So if the market value is higher than the book value, maybe I don't buy the stock right now because it's overpriced. So at some point, it's a drop. So if it's a long term game, I'm trying to get it for the cheapest price possible. So the biggest thing is not being emotional and being patient. So it's a long term game. You might make a few $1,000s. That don't mean go take it out, spend it, or do this, that, and the fourth. Man, let that money compound. Compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. Over time, compound interest can do some magic for you. That's why I say, for me, a 10-year game. Perfect example. You could have about $40,000 an Apple today, and if you're getting a 30% return over the next 10 years, and you continuing to put money from the side hustles or your day job in there, in 10 years, just off of that one stock historical 30% return, you could have $1 million plus. So you don't have to wait till 60, 65 to to have that meal that people retiring on. And you still have your 401k. You still should have an IRA. So you have 3 different streams to retire on. And then that's when the real estate comes, adding another stream. So it's ways to set yourself up long term. So long term, like I said, just to piggyback off of that, start with what you use on a day-to-day basis, and then just do some basic research. Is the company in debt? Who's their management team? If they don't have good managers, then 9 times out of 10 they're gonna run the company in the ground. Um, it's a company, you know, I'm not gonna say a name, but the CEO took the stock price from like $100 to $10 in a year and a half. New CEO came in, and stock price already at $40. So understanding who the managers are and the type of decisions and what they value. You know, the difference between those 2 CEOs, one CEO was just about revenue, 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 revenue. And this ties back into what I'm saying, where just because you have a title, you in the industry, don't mean you have to make immediate money. Whereas the new CEO came in, he's customer focused. Okay, what does the customer wants, and what do the employees value? So 2 different thought processes, in the stock price has been reflected in the new CEO, you know, changing the culture.
Okay.
So
We got another question. Marcel Bond as well. He said, when is it too high to buy into a stock?
too high if you don't think you could afford it. That's the first thing. But once again, I mean, we could sit here and talk about this forever. But once again, you have to really understand, know how to value or analyze the stock. If the book value or, you know, I guess where the stock has been trading or trading at for the last month, 2 months is kind of astronomical, or they've had a crazy amount of gains over the past week, 2 weeks, then eventually the stock is going to make a pullback. There are different charts, different indicators that'll tell you, you know, if a pullback or a drop is going to come. Like I said, it could really get technical from there. But the key thing I would say, without, you know, being too technical, is if it's a good company, in my opinion, it's never too high, because long term, you know, the company is going to continue to grow. There'll be earnings, so eventually long term, you'll make money. But it's a lot of different analysis you could do. Once again, it's too high if you can't afford it, and that goes back to a strategy where, you know, you can be patient. You could save $50 here, $100 there, till you have enough to get that stock. Like I said, another thing that can be too risky for you is trying to buy too many stocks. Just having a share of this, a share of that, when you could double, triple, and multiply multiple shares of a few good companies. So, like I said, that question it has so many ways to answer it. And I know, you know, we don't really have that much time, but once again, um, you know, just being able to analyze the stock from the book value, and anytime the company has too much debt, you really don't want to buy into that type of company.
Right. And just to give you an example of a good company to buy into, like Tesla. I don't know if you follow the stock price for Tesla. Tesla, when I bought in, it was a few months ago. I think I bought in around $350, $356. And currently right now is trading at, I think it's at 140, that's something dollars, $150 something today.
Tesla's at 800.
800 is 800. Okay.
850, about 850.
$850. Yeah. So just be mindful. It's always about your key entry point of when you should buy the company. Like if it's a company like Tesla, like we know they are like the number one originators of their industry or sector, I should say, in electrical vehicles, EV. Yeah. So Tesla is a good company to invest in because they're the originators, just like Netflix. They're the originators of streaming. So companies like that be good to invest in, especially if they're the first in their field.
But
So
same thing with Tesla though. And yeah, good thing he brought that up. So analysts give target prices. So you know, if an analyst comes and say, "Oh, Tesla's target price been raised to 1,200," that $800 price might not be too high. I think just today, one analyst raised, is it Amazon? Whichever one is at 3,000, between Amazon and Google, they got raised to 4,000. So they're at like 3,300. You still gonna make $700 a share, and they're a long term investment. But going back to Tesla, I mean, a lot of analysts really can't validate the growth rate. They're at like a 700% return within the past year. So very volatile, up and down, roller coaster type stocks. So you have to be careful with those. And when you start looking at the balance sheet, you'll start to see some things. So you can either ride the wave like everybody else, or stick to your guns and your fundamentals and your principle, because their balance sheet isn't the best.
Right, I
But
agree.
but yeah, so same thing with the strategy he used. He got in at 3. It's at 8. At some point he can pull all his money out, put it into other stocks, or he can continue to ride the wave if you really believe in that company. Like I said, if you believe in that company, you live by the decision you make. But
All
don't
right.
but know why you investing in that stock. Don't just do it because everybody riding it in the stock is going up.
Yeah, because when me and Mark, yeah, when me and Marcus first started trading, we was living and dying about all the people who was riding the wave, and we lost a lot of money, especially in Tesla. Uh, so good. All right, thank you for that response. So all right, so let's get into. We got a few more minutes left, so let's get into real estate. Recently, over the past year, you bought your first multi-unit property. Can you talk about a little bit why you got into real estate and what was the purpose of it?
Well, yeah, it goes back to just kind of, having control of your own future, and finding other streams of passive income. Like I said, I just got to a point where I'd rather not physically have to do something, and have an asset that's gonna make money all the time for me. Real estate is that game, and once again, real estate and stock, you making money while you sleeping. And real estate and stock, they've made the most millionaires. Not rap, not R&B, not sports. Real estate has made the most. Real estate and stocks the most millionaires. So then it's about owning things, being able to pass things on to your kids, and building a legacy, putting your last name first. So that's how the real estate wave came about. And like I said, just sometimes we get comfortable and we allow other people to have control over our lives. So when you have assets, whether it's real estate, stock, even if you work in a day job and something happens, you still good because you have other avenues to create revenue and make money. And I'm not saying, you're not going to have a hard time, but you're going to have an easier time than someone who doesn't have assets. So really, it's just about that generational wealth. And, even if I do have 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, however many million in 10 years, real estate will be the vehicle that provides consistent passive income for me. And at the same time, the properties will increase in value.
All right. So can you talk about how did you decide to pick the property that you had? Can you talk about the whole process of how you used FHA loans, how you decided what property to choose, instead of getting a single family home? Why did you get a multi-unit family? You want to talk about that?
Yeah, so strategy I use FHA federal program, and use it as an owner occupant. So basically that means live in one of the units, owner occupant, live in one of the units, and the other units are going to pretty much pay the mortgage for me. So this is a 3 unit. I'm in one of the units right now. And so with owner occupant, you have a year and a day. So if I Bought the property January 1st, 2020. Theoretically, I'm supposed to live in one of the units through January 2nd, 2021. Then I can do owner occupant again. But you can only have one FHA loan out at the same time. But the good thing about owner occupant is I could go conventional with the next unit and only put down about 5% versus conventional paying 20% without owner occupant. So basically, you're gonna rinse and repeat that cycle for however long you can. So my plan is to at least do owner occupant for a good 10 years. So easiest way, because the down payment is gonna be the cheapest. You're eliminating your mortgage because the tenant's gonna pay the mortgage for you. And in the year you move out, and then you basically giving yourself a raise. And so over time, once again, all of those properties, just depending on location, they're going to appreciate in value, and they'll make money on over time, and it's something you can hand off. So just imagine, having 10 properties, and on the average, in each property bringing you 1,000 in profit a month. That's 10,000 extra a month. That's what, $120,000 job after the mortgage is paid and someone else is paying the mortgage. So you have a 3-unit property. One of the properties pays the mortgage. You living in one, and then the other property is, land yap. It's extra. Or even if you're living in one and the other 2 properties combined pay the mortgage, and you have just a little extra, you still don't have a mortgage to pay. So now you have more money to invest into stocks or pay off debt or just enjoy your life. So it goes back to, if you get laid off or something, using this strategy, you don't have to worry about a mortgage. You're just paying lights, water, et cetera, et cetera. So it comes with delayed gratification. Everything I've spoke about today, delayed gratification. That's just delaying, instant gratification for a long-term investment and long-term success. So once again, FHA only had to put down 3.5%, one of the lowest down payments besides getting a VA loan if you're in the military. So that's the benefit. For example, you have a $400,000 property, 10%, the $400,000 property, that's 40. Just divide that by 3. You might be putting down, I'm not going to, don't quote me on the map, maybe 13,000 or something on the property versus putting down 20%, which is 80,000. So you just save yourself a good what? $67,000. Come on, how can you beat that? Just to live there a year, have someone else pay the mortgage, so be uncomfortable for a year or 2 and just repeat the process. So, and it depends if you're married, single, married with a kid. It's just all about what you're willing to sacrifice today to make a better life tomorrow. Some people may say, "Oh, I'm married, too many kids, I can't do it." But do you rather struggle for the next 10 years, working multiple jobs just to stay afloat, to pay a mortgage? Or, man, look, the family got to be uncomfortable for a year, 2 years. You get you 2 properties that may bring you, $3,000 after the mortgage is paid. So you have a $36,000 raise that you provided yourself that you're using to pay the mortgage you might be struggling to pay. So it's all in what you're willing to sacrifice or give up right now for long-term gratification. So for me, it's about rinse and repeating, using the same strategy, and just building my real estate portfolio and adding additional cash flow while I'm laying my head, while I'm sleeping.
All right, that's what's up right there. All right, well, I got one more question for you. Um, in all of your business and all your endeavors, can you name me what was your biggest mistake that you ever made, and can you tell me how you came back from that?
Hmm. I would say the biggest mistake is not learning how to make my money work for me. That's why I'm going so hard with the real estate and the stocks now. When I was in San Antonio making the money I was making, I didn't use the money the right way. If I did, wouldn't be working right now with all the money I was making at that time. So really just not educating myself you know, once you start making money, you kind of have to, I'm not saying ever turn your back on people, but you have to start aligning with people that have much more than you. And that's one thing I learned from just being in the sports industry. You know, it's people really making lots of money, and it's not people directly in the sports industry, but people I meet just from being in the sports industry. So you always want to align with people that you can learn from, and some of those people that you meet, like I said, just off of having certain titles and doing certain things, they'll be more genuine than people that you know and provide you some of the best information that'll help change your life. One conversation change your entire life, just based off of the right knowledge. So yeah, it's basically, you know, y'all not using the money in the most effective way to make more money for me, because we don't get taught that. We get taught savings and this and, you know, enjoying what we make, et cetera, and not making the money work for us. The money is just like an employee. If you have a business, you need it to be working for you. If it's just sitting in the savings, it's not doing anything for you. So you have to find the right vehicle, whether it's a business, stocks, real estate, whatever it is. And, you know, you just don't have to jump out here and say, oh, I want to open a business and, you know, quit a job. You know, I wouldn't advise anyone to quit a job unless you have a lot of money saved that's going to support this business, because the average business is really not aligned to make money for 3 to 5 years. So that's another reason why, especially with the Black culture, somebody will start a business in a year, they're done because they didn't properly plan or prepare for that business. The average business, like I said, is going to take a few years for you to start generating revenue. That's why I believe with the IRS, after 5 years, you can't, if you have a LLC, you have to report a profit, or it's considered a hobby. So yeah, you have to give a business some time for it to develop. So continue grinding. Use the money that someone else is paying you to build your plan. It starts with a plan, and that's how you can acquire the assets off of their money, and eventually you'll be able to walk away and do what you want to do. That's how I would do it, and that's how I am doing it, versus just going all in and you don't have anything coming, and you really out here struggling. For every success story that you hear where somebody just was like, you know what, I took a chance and I made it work out here, man, there's millions of other stories where it didn't work like that. So yeah, the biggest regret was not making the money work for me. You know, I'm talking 80, 70, $80,000, you know, in my mid to low 20s, where I just, you know, like I said, I could retire by now. So that's my biggest regret. But once again, it's never too late. That's why I'm doing it now. And, you know, that's the biggest regret. And like I said, I came back from it from aligning with people that had different things, that were making different moves, and just learning from them. You have to be a student of whatever you want to accomplish, or open to learning new things and being uncomfortable.
All right, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming on the show, Mr. Marcus Cummings. Can you tell people where they can follow you at? You can social media handles. I
think my
at the bottom.
handle is on there. I think it's spelled right. Yeah. So at Marc Damien _ PROD, Marc Damien _ production. On Facebook, I'm Marc Damien. On Twitter, I think I'm Marc Damien. For my food, on IG and Twitter at MD Foods LLC. My website, yummytummy.mdfoodsllc. You can Google Marcus Cummings on Amazon Kindle. Both of my books will pop up, or you can Google Yummy Tummy Reduction or Quarantine Cuisine, and you will see the books pop up, hopefully.
They pop up. All right. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen.
And if y'all get a book, make sure y'all leave a review. Only 5-star reviews. We don't accept anything else. And if y'all related to any kids in college, hit the boy up.
All right, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Remember to follow us, subscribe, like, share this video, keep the message going. Yeah, be safe out there. Enjoy the rest of your evening. We out. Peace.
Peace.